Which stock is the better buy today? Is it Amazon or is it Costco? I'm going to answer that question in this video, comparing the two on revenue, cash flow, profit margin, and valuation. So let's jump right into it, starting with revenue. And what you'll notice is both of these companies growing revenue nicely over the last decade. However, Amazon showing much faster revenue growth, expanding and taking the lead from Costco around 2016, and now more than doubling Costco's annual revenue at 538 billion compared to 235 billion for Costco. Amazon has a more aggressive growth strategy while Costco is more conservative with new store openings, new product offerings, and new geographical expansion. And so you have a different strategy from each of these two massive companies. The next thing I wanted to look at is operating profit margin over the trailing 12 months. And interestingly, they have very similar operating profitability, with Costco at 3.33% and Amazon at 3.29%. Costco's profitability is more consistent, however, it's lower more frequently. You could see Costco's profit margin has remained between 2 and 4% for the entirety of the last decade. Costco's strategy is to sell items at low prices, the lowest prices compared to its competition, but to sell them more frequently, to sell them in higher quantities. And so that's the strategy it employs, and that's how it retains customer loyalty, and that's why customers are willing to pay their membership fees for the privilege to shop at Costco warehouses. Amazon, meanwhile, its strategy is to give you a wide assortment of selection and get those items to you to your doorstep in as soon as possible, most often in 2 days or less, especially if you're an Amazon Prime member. And so this strategy has fluctuating results for Amazon. Also, Amazon has other segments of its business in addition to e-commerce, which are significantly more profitable. Notably, Amazon's web services segment generates operating profitability close to 30%. Also, recently, Amazon's been expanding its advertising business with arguably higher profit margins than even the web services segment, although Amazon hasn't broken out the profit margin of the advertising business separately. But from what you can compare with other ad companies, advertising profit margins are pretty lucrative. And so those parts of its business are boosting profitability overall, while its e-commerce business is very thin profit margins, if it generates profit margins at all. Some quarters it goes negative. The next thing I wanted to look at is cash flow from operations. And in this regard, Amazon has a considerable lead over Costco with cash flow from operations at 11.49% in relation to sales, and Costco at 4.18%. This strips out some non-cash expenses, and since Amazon invests significantly in warehouses, in logistics, and all of those things that are heavy capital investments, those are made one time initially, and then in future years, the company takes a depreciation expense on those, but those are non-cash depreciation expenses. And so Amazon's cash flow from operations to sales looks better than its operating profit margin overall. Finally, I wanted to compare these two on valuation, and Amazon is only slightly more expensive than Costco, trading at a forward price to earnings of 45 compared to Costco at a forward price to earnings of 32.88. And since Amazon has much better growth prospects over the next decade and 2 decades, and since Amazon has segments of its business that are meaningful parts of its business that are generating profit margins much higher than Costco's business, I would say if I had to pick one of these two stocks to buy today, I would pick Amazon.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.